Today, the Portland Trail Blazers head into Washington, D.C. to face the red-hot Washington Wizards, winners of 6 straight. The Blazers are coming off an impressive win after beating the Memphis Grizzlies in Memphis, and the Blazers are playing some good basketball as of late. This is a matchup between two teams playing well. It's going to be a fun one. This game preview is brought to you by BetOnline. I'll have a spread and over-under pick at the end of this thing that you can find on BetOnline, and then as far as parlay goes, anything with Damian Lillard doing well is probably a good pick at this point because that dude has been absolutely on fire. Use that promo code BELIEVE when you head over to BetOnline. That's BLEAV, and it'll give you a 50% reward bonus. So check them out. Thank you to them for supporting this game preview. One final thing to plug, I've been dropping a bunch of videos on NBA Uprise, which is our NBA-based channel. I've been dropping trade deadline previews for various teams. I've had some really cool interviews with those, so I hope that you go check them out and maybe subscribe to the channel because I'm trying to get that thing to 1,000 subs. You could help with that. That'd be greatly appreciated. Anyway, leave a like on the video, subscribe, and let's jump into this matchup. And once again, thank you to Reese for helping out with these as always. The Blazers and Wizards have nearly identical records, are playing good basketball in their last 10 games. Today, the Blazers can get back to 500. Here are some metrics for both teams. Washington is pretty average on both sides of the floor. The Blazers have once again become a really good offense and a really bad defense, just like almost every other year. But at least they're good in something. The Blazers play a slow pace. Washington not much faster, but Washington does a better job at moving the ball without turning it over. Let's look at shot distribution for both teams. The Blazers have a really good shot profile, lots of rim attempts, lots of three-point attempts, lots of free throw attempts, not many mid-range shots. The Wizards, on the other hand, take a ton of mid-range shots at the expense of getting to the rim and shooting threes. Let's look at efficiency from certain ranges, and Washington is the most efficient team at the rim. Portland gives up the most rim attempts, that stat's coming up, but it'll be interesting to see how much success the Wizards can have scoring at the rim, considering Portland's woes at stopping those attempts and due to the fact that Drew Eubanks will be starting at center. The Blazers are a three-point shooting team. They rank 6th in three-point percentage, and they rank highly in overall efficiency. Anyway, here's some various offensive numbers. Portland is still one of the worst turnover teams in the league. Washington is middle of the pack in pretty much everything, except for offensive rebounding, where they rank 22nd, with Trent Watford being the center off the bench for the Blazers today. Lineups with him at center have struggled rebounding the ball all year. Hopefully that doesn't come back to bite the Blazers, considering Washington isn't the best offensive rebounding team. Here's opponent shot distribution. As I said, Portland is the worst in the league at giving up shots at the rim. The Wizards do a good job of not giving up jump shots, whether it's from the mid-range or the three-point line, and they also don't send teams to the free throw line. The Blazers get there quite a bit. It will be interesting to see how that battle manifests itself. Here's a look at shot defense. Wizards really good at defending mid-range shots, but the Blazers don't shoot many from there, but they've been solid from other areas as well. The one thing the Wizards don't do is force turnovers, which is a good thing considering how much the Blazers struggle with turnovers. The Wizards rank 2nd to last in opponent turnover percentage. The Blazers don't turn their opponents over much either. And now finally, let's take a look at the bench, which apparently Portland's bench the last 10 games has the #1 net rating. Nasir Little's played well. You have Gary Payton II off the bench now. Shaedon Sharpe has started to play better. Drew Eubanks has had some good performances. So the Blazer bench, which was a struggle earlier this season, in a lot of game previews, we talked about how they were a struggle. In the past 10 games, it's actually been a strength. Anyway, thank you to Reese once again for those game preview stats. He's a huge help in making these videos possible. And by the way, after the trade deadline, we will have these more regularly. I've been prepping a bunch for the trade deadline stream on the 9th, and I've been putting out those trade deadline previews. Forgot to mention that in the intro. Figured I'd just mention it now. Anyway, let's take a look at the injury report. Out for the Blazers is Yusuf Nurkic. As I said, Drew Eubanks is going to get the start. It's going to be interesting to see how that goes. Justice Winslow is also out, as he has been with an ankle injury, and Ibu Baji is out with a knee injury, but he wouldn't play if he was healthy anyway. Big thing for the Blazers is, will Jeremy Grant play? Because he's questionable due to concussion protocols, even though he said he wasn't in concussion protocols, but he's listed as questionable with a concussion. Doesn't really make much sense, but Jeremy Grant might play tonight, might not. The Blazers need his contribution tonight against a Wizards team playing really well. The Wizards have a relatively clean injury report. Anthony Gill isn't a rotation player for them anyway. Let's take a look at some of the Wizards players. Kristaps Porzingis is having a very underrated season. He ranks in the 92nd percentile in LeBron and 95th percentile in estimated plus minus. He is 7'3", but he can't finish at the rim. He's only in the 11th percentile in finishing talent. His shooting is where most of his offensive game comes from. 91st percentile in mid-range shooting talent. He's also a pretty good three-point shooter. 35% on 5 attempts per game. But note, he is only in the 4th percentile for three-point shot quality. He takes a bunch of tough ones. That's a pretty reasonable percentage for the looks that he's getting, and he's shooting around 45% from 3 in his last 6 games. He is in the 95th percentile for average three-point shot distance, so expect some bombs. Drew Eubanks is going to have to get out there on those three-point attempts. Porzingis also ranks in the 90th percentile in playmaking talent for all centers this season. He's a two-way player as well, 92nd percentile in protecting the rim and 72nd percentile in on-ball defense for all centers. Meanwhile, Bradley Beal is still good. He ranks in the 88th percentile in LeBron and 90th percentile in estimated plus minus. He's not attacking the rim as much as he used to when he was scoring 30 points per game, but overall he's still a good finisher. He ranks 86th percentile in finishing talent. He's a 92nd percentile mid-range shooter, but only the 47th percentile in three-point shooting talent. His three-point percentage has dropped off in recent years. In his last 10 games, though, Beal's shooting 44% from 3 on over 3 attempts per game, but is only averaging 19 points per game as a whole in that stretch. He is a willing playmaker, though, ranks in the 82nd percentile in playmaking talent, but Beal's and Porzingis' three-point shooting is part of the reason why the Wizards have been playing so good lately. Meanwhile, Kyle Kuzma is the third option for the Wizards, but he scores at the rate of a second option. He's averaging 24 points per game, 8 rebounds and 4 assists on a 55% true shooting percentage in his last 10 games. 76th percentile in finishing talent, 90th percentile in mid-range talent, 88th percentile in three-point shooting talent. He's a 3-level scorer. Those are very good numbers for your third option. He's very underrated passer too. His playmaking has developed. He ranks in the 96th percentile for passing creation quality and 88th percentile in playmaking talent. He's good in transition. There are legitimate questions about his defense, but he is a good secondary rim protector as well. Proven to be reliable when put on the ball. He's in the 76th percentile in on-ball defense and is in the 84th percentile when chasing offensive players off the ball. He's a team high plus 62 during this 6-game winning streak that the Wizards are on. And Washington in general has a group of very good defenders on their team. Daniel Gafford, who's been talked about in potential trades for the Blazers to upgrade their backup center spot. He ranks in the 90th percentile in D LeBron and 87th percentile in defensive estimated plus minus. He's one of the top rim protectors in the game and is good in drop situations. It'll be interesting to see how much drop the Wizards play against Damian Lillard, who's known to crush drop. DeLon Wright, meanwhile, ranks in the 98th percentile in defensive estimated plus minus and 95th percentile in defensive LeBron. He is first in the league in generating turnovers in the passing lanes and is in the 98th percentile in on-ball defense. Danny Avdija is in the 95th percentile in D LeBron and 99th percentile in on-ball defense. 96th percentile in screen navigation as well. He gets a lot of tough matchups for the Wizards, and it's likely that Washington will elect to put him on Damian Lillard. Meanwhile, a name you might not have heard of is Jordan Goodwin, but he ranks in the 92nd percentile in defensive LeBron and grades out as a very good point of attack defender, 88th percentile in on-ball defense and 89th percentile in screen navigation, so he could get Damian Lillard or Anthony Simons as a defensive matchup as well. He comes off the bench for the Wizards and has been a serviceable player this year. Key for the Blazers will be to defend the rim. That's the most important thing of this game for Portland. Washington's super efficient from there. Portland gives up a lot of shots from there. Portland's without the use of Nurkic. That's my biggest worry as a Blazer fan going into tonight's game. Another key is for Damian Lillard to keep the ball rolling. He's been absolutely phenomenal lately, and that's going to need to continue. And then the final key is to take care of the ball. Against a Wizards team that doesn't force many turnovers, the Blazers can't be getting sloppy because that'll play into Washington's hands. Anyway, as far as BetOnline picks go, the Wizards are 4-point favorites. I'm taking the Blazers. I think this will be a close one. but if you give me the Blazers and 4 points right now, I will take that. Over under is 236. I'm going to take the over. The Blazers and Wizards have both been putting a lot of points on the scoreboard lately, so I think over is a pretty good pick there. Anyway, that wraps up this game preview. Let me know what you think of the game going into tonight. What are you watching for? What's your final score prediction? Does Dame score 40 points again? Let me know down in the comment section below. Once again, this game preview was presented by BetOnline. Use that promo code BELIEVE for a 50% reward bonus. And I am out of here. I'll catch you later tonight on the post-game show. Until then, as always, peace out. Go Blazers.